This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Tuesday, September the 6th, 2016. I'm Michael Groff, taking a look at what should be a rather complicated and active weather pattern for much of southern Arizona over the next 48 hours or so. Right now, you wouldn't know that any sort of bad weather is looming on the horizon. There's the view from Desert Botanical this morning, and clear skies, dry air, low dew points are greeting us out there this morning. You see it's 81 degrees at Sky Harbor at this hour, but that's at the center of the urban core. You get away from there. Many of us were well down in the 70s overnight, and some outlying desert areas got down into the upper 60s once again. Feels pretty refreshing. Dew point sitting at 37, relative humidity 21%. The winds are light, the barometer rising. Look at the radar this morning. It is quiet, but some scattered showers to the southeast of Sierra Vista. Water vapor imagery shows, there's the dry air, but there's the moisture coming toward the southeastern part of the state well in advance of Hurricane Newton, which we'll be talking about here momentarily. General pattern across North America this morning, and, here it is. It's the same old 500 millibar map that we've seen for the last 2 months. Troughing across much of western North America, extending from western Canada south into the southwest U.S., Huge ridging over the east. Look at that 591 contour approaching Newfoundland. I mean, that's just crazy consistency in the weather pattern and very anomalous ridging for this time of year, that's for sure. So, other than those big, broad features, a couple other things do stand out of the map as well. There's post-tropical cyclone Hermine still sitting off the New England coast, just meandering about as it has done for the last 2 or 3 days. The bulk of the strongest winds and heaviest rains have managed to stay offshore. However, occasional squall bands still make it into the coastal regions and create some strong winds, heavy rains. And, we had some power outages yesterday for portions of Cape Cod and Long Island. And the other big problem with this system is rip currents and high surf. So that is still going to be a problem for the next day or two because this thing is just stubborn to move out. We're in a huge blocking pattern. As you saw just a minute ago in the other map, the main belt of westerlies is well to the north, well into Canada, unusually far to the north, especially for this time of year. Folks, this is September. We should start to see the westerlies moving across the northern tier states of the U.S. The other big feature there that's more germane to our weather is Hurricane Newton over the southern tip of Baja this morning. 90-plus mile-per-hour winds battering Cabo San Lucas at this hour, and probably 4 to 6 inches of rain down there, maybe heavier amounts. The thing about this is that the system's moving relatively fast, between 15 and 18 miles per hour, so that's going to keep the potential for the heaviest rains somewhat at bay. We're not going to see 12 or 14 inches like we do from some of these hurricanes, but nevertheless, wind and rain for portions of the Baja and western mainland Mexico going to be a big threat there. The watch warning map pretty much showing what we were just talking about. Tropical storm warnings along the immediate New England coast and just offshore. Frost and freeze advisories out west for portions of central and northern Nevada. Up into Idaho, cool temperatures up there. Fire danger risk as well. Kind of seems like an odd combination, but it has been cool but very dry across much of the west. That will be changing pretty soon. Look at that. Flash flood watches, first of all, for southeastern portions of Minnesota as well as northern Wisconsin. Also, West Texas, the El Paso area, and up into eastern portions of New Mexico. And south central and southeast Arizona, also under flash flood watches, effective from 11 p.m. this evening till 11 p.m. tomorrow evening. The counties included in this watch, Maricopa, including the Phoenix metro area. Got Pinal, Pima, Santa Cruz, Graham, Greenlee, Cochise counties, as well as Gila County. So if you're in Gila Bend, Tucson, Douglas, Nogales, Safford, Sierra Vista, Globe, Miami, all of those areas are under flash flood watches through tomorrow evening. Taking a quick look at the convective outlook for today. Yes, southern Arizona in the threat for thunderstorms, but the main risk of severe weather continues to be from eastern portions of Nebraska, the Omaha area, on up into northern Iowa, southern Minnesota toward the Twin Cities, and much of central and northern Wisconsin in the slight risk area. Marginal risk area extends outside of that. For tomorrow, marginal risk of severe weather across portions of the Midwest from eastern Kansas and Nebraska on up into Missouri, Iowa, northwest Illinois, western Wisconsin. Again, no severe risk for us here in the Southwest. These kinds of tropical systems very rarely produce severe weather because we just don't necessarily have a lot of dynamics to talk about. The best dynamics are coming in this afternoon, but the moisture probably won't be here just yet. More on that momentarily. Speaking of that tropical system, here is Hurricane Newton, the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Over southern Baja there near Cabo San Lucas, 23.5 north, 110.4 west, moving to the north-northwest at 17 miles per hour. Max sustained winds, a strong Category 1 near 90 miles per hour. You see the forecast track expected to start to make a curve toward the north and then impact western mainland Mexico later tonight around midnight or so. It'll make landfall as a hurricane. There are hurricane warnings along the western coast of Mexico. Probably landfall somewhere around Hermosillo. Then the system moves further to the north and could and probably will enter southern Arizona as a tropical storm. It'll be the fifth system ever to enter the state of Arizona as a tropical storm. The last time that happened was Hurricane Nora back in 1997. So, with all of that having been said, let's get into it. Here's the forecast, starting with this afternoon at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, the view from 500 millibars. And Newton crossing the central Baja Peninsula there out into the Gulf of California. We'll have jet level energy approaching the state from the west. And we'll have the daytime heating, temperatures exceeding 100 degrees here on the south central deserts. You put all of that together, and look at the Cape values here exceeding 1,000 joules per kilogram to our southwest. And that means showers and thunderstorms are going to flare up. And the mean steering flow will be south-southwesterly. So storms will be approaching us this afternoon and this evening. But I think the main risk for us for the time being will be strong winds and blowing dust. The air mass is still very dry. Dew points will be down in the 30s. PWatt values are still going to be fairly low until the late evening or overnight hours. So along the I-8, I-10 corridors, big threat for blowing dust this afternoon. The main precipitation window for us here in the Phoenix area will likely be tonight, probably starting around midnight or so and going through the mid-morning hours tomorrow. Because, here's the view tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., there's Newton making landfall on the mainland of Mexico. All of the moisture will be in place across the state by then. Dynamics kind of marginal, but I would say reasonable enough to squeeze out some showers and thunderstorms across the area. By tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., Newton enters the state as a tropical storm. And for the eastern part of the state, on the east side of the system, you're in a generally southeasterly or southerly flow. And for places like Tucson toward Casa Grande, that's kind of an upslope wind. And so pretty good precipitation will be in play there. But for us, by then, and certainly by the early afternoon hours tomorrow, will be a kind of an east or northeasterly flow around this system. And while some moisture will wrap around, the thing is that wind flow is going to also be a downsloping wind flow, a subsident wind, and it's going to suppress any kind of significant precipitation for us. So I think much of the day tomorrow probably cloudy with maybe some light rain, but I don't really foresee the flash flood potential, even though we are under a flash flood watch for much of Maricopa County. That's going to be a really, really tight rain gradient. I think the East Valley and over toward Queen Creek and the eastern parts of Maricopa County and northern Pinal County may see some heavier rain, but you go the further west you go, and you don't have to go very far west. Once you hit the West Valley, once you get out toward Wickenburg, up into the northwest part of Maricopa County, probably almost no rain out that way. Now, if this track were to change even slightly, if this were to go a little bit further to the left, that moves that rain gradient ever so slightly. And that makes the big difference. But historically, when these systems come into Arizona at this kind of a track, Phoenix is generally on the dry side. And I think that while it's probably a safe bet to have a flash flood watch just in case, and with the dynamics in play late tonight, we may see some decent rain. I think the best rainfall and the biggest risk of flash flooding is over eastern portions of Pima County, Santa Cruz County, and the southeastern part of the state. Douglas, Sierra Vista, Safford, Globe, Miami, certainly warranted in the flash flood watch. For us, it's a marginal risk at best. And here's the QPF chart. This is valid through Saturday, and you can see, yeah, of course, to the southeast, rain going to be heavy. We're talking 2 to 3 inches of rain across much of southeast Arizona. Northern Mexico going to get hammered 4 to 6 inches of rain or more. But for us, yeah, probably a tenth to a half inch of rain. And you go any further west than that, and you're going to get nothing. Much of northwest Arizona, certainly southeast California, southern Nevada, absolutely nothing. No consequence from this storm whatsoever. Now, the center of Newton will still be over the state late Wednesday into early Thursday over the eastern portions of the state. But for us, the rain will pretty much be over with by then. Only slight chances of showers or thunderstorms on Thursday for us. Here's a look toward Friday, and we'll still have some humidity around here. I don't think we're going to really scour out the moisture across south central Arizona. I think dew points will probably come down a little bit, but we'll still feel a little bit of that humidity. Temperatures will be at or slightly below normal. As we look into Saturday, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, but boy, really not much in the way of precipitation across the state. The models are keeping us relatively dry. We're in generally southwesterly flow aloft. Sunday, some of the models have hinted at a little bit of moisture returning Sunday and Monday. We'll just have to see how all of that plays out. It's kind of far off into the future right now, and there's certainly some uncertainty to be had there. But doesn't look like anything of significant consequence headed our way. And here we go. This is the end of the forecast period. Thursday, September the 15th. The old 591 ridge continues over the southeast United States. Pretty big ridging over the Pacific Northwest on into western Canada. For us, temperatures probably right about normal. Doesn't appear to be any large-scale changes in store for us. Moisture would probably be fairly minimal in a pattern like this. But, that's 10 days out. And if you think that's interesting, let's go into the land of make-believe and wind and ghosts and take a look at, this is day 13, September the 18th. And boy, there's a big ridge that would be building over a central part of the U.S. Above normal heights extend all the way up into the Dakotas, Minnesota, southern Canada. For us, that would mean temperatures well above normal if this verified. Meanwhile, looks like troughing actually trying to dig down into the eastern U.S. This would be an interesting pattern change for sure, as the map has been pretty much the opposite of this almost all summer. As for temperatures and precipitation probabilities, well, the guidance is showing a high of just 90 degrees for us for tomorrow. Think that conceivably we could stay in the 80s all day, depending on when the rainfall arrives and how much we get and the degree of cloud cover that we have. Certainly, we'll warm up a bit on Thursday. I think there'll be less clouds around. Still, chances for precip are there. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we really dial down the precip probabilities, and temperatures will rebound somewhat as the air dries out a little bit. Then Sunday and Monday, maybe a little bit more moisture, and temperatures will come back down to about or maybe even a degree or so below normal. And that'll about wrap it up for today's weather discussion for the Phoenix area for Tuesday, September 6, 2016. Thanks for joining me.